book here, so hopefully I don't lose it. Just a moment. Okay. All right. So there was a question, right when I was joining, somebody was asking about Unit 12.
No, not you. Now you need to about the project materials.
Oh, I
Since
see.
we have to release the project to the students.
Okay. All right. So let me just give a really quick overview. I don't know if I can. Let me just see if I don't know. I brought in a different machine here, thinking that I might be able to do something creative with it. I don't know if I will or not. Probably not. Hold on. Maybe if I hold on just a minute here. Okay. Now, all right, I'm gonna try something here. I'm gonna see if I can just share my screen and then just do some drawing as if we had a whiteboard here. Let me just see if I can get this to work. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm gonna try to share my screen. Are you're not sharing your screen, are you?
Yeah, I'm not sharing my screen.
Okay, let me just see if I can get by with it. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. Never do anything while you're trying to talk here. So maybe 2 more minutes here, and we'll see if this works. Okay, it would be nice if I can get my full screen. Okay. All right. I'm going to put you guys over here. All right. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, I can see that.
All right. How about other people? No?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. Okay, good. All right, so good. So let me just see if I can kind of lay this out in a way that makes sense. Okay, so we are at the beginning of what would be Unit 12 in our class. And Unit 12 is on data cleaning. Coding and evaluation. Okay, Unit 13 is our project, and we're calling it Project B, and there is an analysis piece to that and a report piece, and we'll come back to those. Unit 14 is data provenance. And Unit 15 is overcoming social and technical barriers. Okay, so Unit 12 is a reflection. And this is a self-reflection. And so in other words, it's you just going through and doing your own assessment of the learning that you've done. I strongly encourage you to work through the self-reflection and work through the videos, I identified a couple different data sets, one from ecology and another one from social science. And on the ecology data set, worked through pointing out where omissions kind of omissions, where gaps, where data could be misinterpreted, just to try to give you a sense for the different forms that cleaning can take. Then I point you at a couple videos that are well done that talk about cleaning and coding from a social science perspective. And the cleaning and coding are related because coding, if one were to do a survey of people on the street, if I were to take some kind of survey about how they like the changes in the soccer field that's across from my office here, people would give me free text answers. And in trying to prepare the data for analysis using like a statistical analysis tool, I would have to take that free text and categorize it into what I thought the underlying intention was, or something to that effect. So that the two are, the cleaning and coding are closely related. And I think the lesson itself does a good job in giving the full breadth of cleaning and coding, because cleaning and coding is a domain specific or application specific topic. So I try to create some breadth across the spaces where cleaning and coding would occur. The reflection itself points you to, I think it's a federal agency that has defined guidelines for data cleaning, which I thought was quite interesting. And this comes from the health field, so it adds another dimension. And again, self-reflection on that one. Units 14 and 15 we're going to do those by discussion, and that's Piazza. And here, and this one is the same discussion. And for these, the metric is you will offer your opinion for a question, plus, and for those of you who are on one of our calls earlier, this is a suggestion that came from this group. You offer your opinion for a question and then weigh in on two other opinions, basically. So if two questions, then there will be 6 engagement points for that particular discussion. And again, I mean, we had talked about bringing more, kind of organization to how one engages with Piazza. So this is what we're doing for units 14 and 15. There will probably be 2 questions for each of those. So again, you'll weigh in, 6 times for unit 15 and 6 times for unit 14. Are there any questions on that? People clear on that? I'm going to save here just so that I don't lose it. The cache fills up quickly and it'll dump my it'll dump my contents here pretty soon. Oh, I'm not getting the keyboard. We'll just save it like that. Oh, come on. Where's my keyboard? Sorry about this. This isn't a real familiar machine to me, so maybe I can get rid of that one. So anyway, while I'm mucking with this, can somebody acknowledge that you're hearing me okay and that you're understanding what I'm saying?
Can hear you.
I can hear you. Understand fine.
Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah, good grief. We're just gonna have to plug on here. Okay, and then with the project B. Oh yeah, okay. So with the project B, we're going to talk about the analysis piece of that. But I want to point out a student has an opportunity to either do the analysis part of the project, or the report. And the report is a written report where the analysis has all of us going back to our VMs. The Exceed team gave us a huge allocation. We're good citizens with them, so they gave us an allocation of another 250,000 compute units so that we can carry through with our final project, which is very generous of them. So, you know, if you're interested in pushing ahead, we're going to be doing some analysis, some character analysis in a text, in a book, a piece of literature, or the report itself is, it identifies 3 topics. I think we've got, let me get another color here. I think I've got 4 topics that I've identified. And those topics are coming from data provenance, you know, overcoming social barriers. Well, not so much on the data cleaning, but definitely data provenance and overcoming the social and technical barriers. Plus, there's one for those of you who are focused on what you're interested. There's also an opportunity for a self-defined project. So for this report, I've given, for each one of the topics, I've given something like 4 papers to get you started on the topic, some readings there, and then advising that for additional readings, you look into the bibliography for, like I say, to flesh out the readings. And then you will do a synthesizing across what you've read. And then I also point you to a slide deck that talks about what synthesizing is. And the process of synthesizing, you know, I've found extremely helpful. I mean, the first paper that I wrote that was a synthesis paper, I thought took me into a different dimension with respect to how I thought about the papers I had read. You know, typically the typical kind of student perspective is, I read it, I write about it, I read it, I write about it, I read it, I write about it. And that's you know, that's fine, but it's a fairly you know, kind of immature way of engaging with the content that you're reading. So the whole goal with this project is to take you into a different dimension where you're actively engaging the pieces that you read and formulating them in a way that, as the word says, synthesizes across the different papers and highlights the specific commonalities and differences and whatnot across those. So it's a nice exercise for people that are interested in taking that option. And again, the other option then is this analysis report, and we'll shift to that. We can shift to that right now, because that is going to be assigned later today, actually about midnight tonight is when it usually goes out. So are there any questions at all on anything that I've said? Because really what I've done here is I've laid out the rest of the semester. Oh yeah, one more piece. You know, this is the semester. So the pieces by which, you know, we're assessing performance are this Project B, we're grading Project A right now, Project B, and then these 2 discussion pieces. So that's all we've got left between now and the end of the semester. And the intention is to have this Project B due by the 5th of December. And then after that, we are done. You are done with everything that you need to do for the course. There is no final, and this is it. So questions not only on the individual things, but just on the you know, the course overall, because we are wrapping up now. So thoughts, comments, anything else?
Both options of the project will release then.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine now.
Okay. So tonight you said on the website, both options will release for the project.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both ready. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we're putting the finishing touches on them just a little while ago. So yeah, I think they could probably both be released right now.
Okay.
Other questions? We do have, I should say too, we did build in some extra credit into the analysis part of the project. And if somebody wanted to do the report and wanted to find some ways to add a little extra credit, we could talk about that too. So just from the people that are on, I know there's a small number of you on, how many of you are leaning toward the analysis project?
Leaning towards analysis.
Okay, other people?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards analysis as well.
Okay, Mark, thank you. Others?
Yeah, me too. This is Rose. I want to see what it is first, but I would like to do the analysis.
Okay. Anybody interested in the report?
Yeah, I think I might be interested in doing the report. Have to read between the two, but that seems to be more up my alley.
Okay. And somebody else was trying to say something, I thought.
Yeah, I think just the analysis on how technical it is versus the report, how long it's expected to be, how many pages.
Makes sense. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Okay, good. So I will stop. Let me see. I will stop sharing the screen. How many of you engaged with that Unit 11, which is the routing in the NoSQL stores? I mean, there was a bit of a conversation on Piazza on it, not a lot. We can talk about the reflection if people want to talk about it or not. We could take the whole time talking about the projects too. So do people want to talk about the routing reflection at all? Okay, I thought the discussion on Piazza was good, but again, it did involve just a few people. So, and it was, I should say that the routing unit was optional. So, okay, so can I turn things over to you, and you will pull up the report and we can plug through that?
Yeah. So I can
Okay.
share the screen about.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay.
Perfect.
So first, first we should show the analysis first. Is that okay?
Say that again?
I just share the analysis first.
Sure, I think that's fine.
So let's go to the analysis, then go to the report. So hey everyone, so this is our project B book project. So for this project, you just do the analyzing large text. So for this project, the project will be due on Monday, December 5th. So that's the middle night. So for this project, there are several goals here. So first, you should download a book from Project Gutenberg. So that's a website that can offer the free book to us. So you just choose a book from this website, download it to your browser or download it to your JetStream instance. Then you are going to use Python and use the natural language toolkit, this library, to extract a list of characters from the book. And for this project, you have to learn how to process the text of the book to create a network of relationship between the characters. So the project will give you a lot of command to help you to finish it. So here, this is a very important part about this project, about this grading work. So a student who follows the instructions and do the entity.
Hey, how about you? How about if I take that one?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, because I did, yeah. I mean, that's kind of my piece here. So, so what we tried to do is break this up into what's minimally required, what goes a little bit beyond, and then a couple options to go even further beyond that. So, I know I did quite a bit of my schooling while I was working full time, and I know sometimes, the minimal to get an A is good enough. And frankly, I made those calls more often than once just because, we're balancing a lot of things in our lives. So what I tried to do in setting this up is to say, the first piece of the project, you are going to be using the book Les Miserables. It's a large book. It actually comes in multiple parts. And you're going to carry out your analysis. You're going to be doing character recognition, recognizing relationships between the characters in the book, and then plotting those graphically in a network graph so you can see those. So the first piece is you're going to accomplish that for Les Mis, and that's it. And in my mind, that's 93 points. It's a 100-point project. That's 93 points. So that gives you an A right there. And for people who want to stop there, that's good. For people who want to go on, then these people are going to have to select additional content that's more carefully chosen, and then analyze that, and then draw inferences from the graph that they're seeing. So it's going to take a little more time to pick your content, and then to talk about how, you know, these relationships show up in a graph form. So that takes a person to 100%, if that's what they want to do. And then there's two options going beyond. One of them is there's refinement that can go on, and tweaking and refinement that can go on to in the analysis tools and in the content itself, cleaning up the content that will give you more refined results. And here, this extra credit, which is up to 10 points, the barrier is higher. The sense is, okay, you know what you're picking things intentionally, you're tweaking and playing around with the analysis tools, you're going through and cleaning up the content, and now you've got presumably a network graph that's that is more meaningful than the out-of-the-box default graph would be. So that would be the first extra credit option. The second extra credit option is using the HathiTrust data capsules. HathiTrust, where Project Gutenberg has 50,000 books, and it gives you a very nice clean text file per book. HathiTrust is research library texts that are digitized research library texts. There's duplicates. They haven't been nicely cleaned up. But the data capsule is similar to the Exceed virtual machine, the Jetstream virtual machine, and what it provides, only it's a little bit harder to use because it's trying to protect for the in-copyrighted content. So this one it's also worth 10 extra points, but it really kind of pushes a person into a new space by saying, take that Les Miserables analysis that you did, get it running in a data capsule, and get it pointing at the Les Mis content that's in the HathiTrust digital library, which, believe it or not, there are 536 versions of Les Mis, their parts. It's even just by Victor Hugo himself. So it's a much different experience than the nicely cleaned up single book that you get from Project Gutenberg. So again, so this one too is kind of pushing people and pushing their boundaries, and is really, but the experience is, I think, is a good experience, and it contributes back to a research project. So those are the two extra credit options. So let me just stop right there and make sure that that's clear. That's clear to everybody. And if there's any questions, we can get those questions, and then we'll go into what some of those details are.
So you will give us some guidance on like the code, like this Python, you'd give us a script to use.
Right, and that is where, you know, what you hasn't gotten to yet are the 9 pages of text that are below this.
Okay.
And screenshots and everything else. So yeah, no, there is and that's a good point. So that first piece of the project that takes you to a 93% is really, you're just following what we're asking you to do. And then that second step is to expand beyond. But yeah, but there's quite detailed instructions on how to get that first step, how to accomplish that first piece of it. Okay, and then I should also point out, because you've got the text on it, you know, the shared screen on it, the data capsules option is only available to 20 students just because of the capability that's sitting behind those capsules. And I think there's probably only about 20 students who are really willing, who have the time to muck around a bit, which is what this one is going to take. So, but if you are interested in doing this extra credit, drop me a note.
And I think you mentioned you are working on grading Project A, because I would hope to see how I performed on Project A before deciding whether to take the technical piece of Project B.
The goal is to get the grades out next Monday.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay, if there's no other questions, and you, please.
Okay, so for this Project B analysis work, so we are still going to use Jetstream. So if you finish your Project A in Jetstream, you don't need to do anything on it. You just need to start a new instance. So this is the description how to start and which image you should use. So the AI demeter just post an image to the image list on the JetStream. So just search this image, project B image, and launch it. So please use the JetStream TACC provider and use the tiny size for this project, because this project is very small, so you don't need to use the larger one.
Let me just, if I can just add, TACC is TAC. It's the Texas Advanced Computer Center, Supercomputer Center. It's in Austin, Texas. So JetStream is actually running across Indiana University and University of Austin, Texas. So that's so the instances we're running are at TAC. It's well known in the high performance computing world. Go ahead, that's all.
So for this project, we just need you to create a folder, projects in the instance, and git clone the code from the GitHub. So that's all. And just follow this setup and download the code description. You can finish the setup and the environment part. So here, this is the main point, case study. So the character network for the less miserable. So this is what we want for you to finish in here. So if you can follow this case study, you can finish the project and get the 93 points for this part. So I won't talk about this case study because that's your project, and you just follow this description step by step and read it carefully. You can get it.
Yeah. So let me slow this down just a little bit. So going back to the GitHub. So a student sits inside they're in their virtual machine when they do this cloning, right? So they invoke GitHub, or they bring up the GitHub URL from within their virtual machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay, and in that way, by cloning it, all the code gets dropped right into their machine.
Yes.
And that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because GitHub is new for this class, so. But that's the point. The thought was that would be easier for you all than having to SCP content, downloading it, and then SCPing it from your laptop into your image, into your virtual machine. This was thought to be an easier process for you. So that's why we're going with it.
Okay.
Okay.
One question.
Good. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that, Rose. Now drop down a little bit with the MongoDB. Okay.
MongoDB. Okay.
Right there. Okay. Now we are running here. You'll have to help me, but this PyMongo, does that just run on top of the MongoDB instance that students are already using, or is it its own MongoDB database?
It's a kind of client for the Python to connect to the MongoDB.
Okay, so we have an instance of MongoDB in the virtual machine, but the student is now going to interact with that MongoDB instance through this Python client.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's so, and we are doing that because the Python toolkit has the analysis algorithms built into it. So it's a kind of a framework for not only accessing the data, but bringing it into the analysis pieces. So that's why we're doing that.
Yes, so
Okay.
for this sample code here, so student just import this library into the Python, and Python can use Mongo client part to connect to the MongoDB, and just read the file from the instance disk, and then search the information into the MongoDB. So it's very straightforward, like Java code, like the Mongo import, but just use Mongo to do these commands on this site. So yeah, so here, so you just follow these steps, and so when you finish inserting the data into MongoDB, just extract the characters from the book. So just follow this command there, you can get the result. Make sure there's no typo on this command, because that's the exact command, that's the exact method on the library. So just manually typing this command in the Mongo shell. So not Mongo shell, just type this command in the Python shell, you can get the result. So we will provide you a tutorial, maybe a video tutorial, so teach you how to use Python. So you don't worry about the Python part. So here, for this part, so
How many people, let me interrupt, how many people have worked with Python before? Or how many people have not? How many people have not?
I have never used it.
Okay. Okay, so Krishna, Joseph has not, okay. Worked with Python in school. Angelica, very, very, very little. Eric, okay. I have not. Robert, okay, good. Okay, Stephen, very little. Okay, so not a lot of Python experience. Okay.
so
So you, it sounds like a little tutorial could be useful.
yeah. So for this project, for the Python in this project, you don't need to write anything. You don't need to develop any code for it. You just need to use this command in your Python shell. So don't worry about this part. It's very easy. It's better than the project A, because project A, there's many information about the project, about the command, but this part, just run the command, run the method, and you will get the result. So we will post a tutorial about how to use Python, and hope that can help students to learn it better. So just read this description carefully, and you will know why we should use this method or how to use this method. It's very easy. It's a good chance for us to learn this new tool. And for the last part, so like we are going to build the network for this work. So here, there's a command to help you to build it. But so don't worry about this part. We will make a tutorial for it and make sure you understand what's happening there. And this is the result. So for the project, when you analyzing the work, and you try to visualize the relationship between each characters. Here, this is a sample. So there's a strong relationship and a weaker relationship. You can see from this graphic. And your final work should be based on this graphic to show some thinking about this part. So here, this is very, this is information about how to do this project step by step. So first, you insert your text into MongoDB. That's the first step. And write a find query to retrieve all the text from the MongoDB. So like it looks like you get data from the MongoDB into your Python. And then the third step, just paste the result of the query to the local text. So this is so when you read the case study, you will know why we do this step. And this is the clean data part. So use the remove command to remove the noise or remove the unclear data from the information. Then at the last step, you just use create network function to create a network representation of the relationship between people. So it's very straightforward.
Okay, so let me point out, and you may have done this already, but if you leave the write-up right there, when it says minimal plus portion of the project, that's the 93 point to the 100 point piece of it there. So it's called minimal, and then it's called minimal plus. So this is just to give you a signpost as to where we're at here.
This is not the actual 7% step. It's just a normal step for the entire project for the 93%.
Ooh.
Yeah, 93% just to follow this step and you got the work. Still, the study case still use these 5 steps and these 6 steps to get the result. So if you have any questions about the steps, you just go to this part to check the step 1, step 2, or step 2 to the step 6. Find which part are you missing or which part are you doing wrong.
Well, and maybe what we need to do is move that up then, because below that it says for this part, you're picking your own books. So that maybe if the naming of those steps are important. Again, you guys, you're helping us out. It's not released yet, so this is early, and I think maybe we found something that these steps should be moved above.
So that's the project analyzing project. So here, Professor, can I share the doc? The report document.
I think it's open right now, isn't it? But I guess just bear with us. The final version has not been released yet. So if you grab a copy of it right now, grab a copy after it's been formally released. But I believe it's open though, isn't it?
Let me check it. So
Okay.
here, so should it be here? It's not yet.
quite yet. Okay.
Yeah, but I can share
Okay.
the document here just to talk about some here. So there are 4 topics Professor
Oh,
mentioned.
that, okay, I see. Oh, yeah. No, sorry about that. I misunderstood what you were saying. Go
So
ahead.
one is the data stores through visualization. There are 4 papers here. And the topic 2 is saving scientific data for the future generations. Then the third topic is data sharing and the replications of science. And the topic 4 should be the quality of data. And the topic 5, so student can choose their own topic, and please follow this qualifications here. So if you want to do your own topic, you have to connect it with the professor and to prove it.
Yeah, so can you go all the way up to the top on that?
This one? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think was Angeline was talking about what the length requirements are. So if you look down at the bottom of this, the paper regulation is 5 pages in length, 11-point font, double spacing, single column, 1-inch margin. So that's not a real lengthy obligation, but the expectation is it's good quality content and not, we can all ramble and say, not much of anything. So the expectation is it's short and it's powerful, and instead of long and windy. That's the hope anyway. All right. And also above that, the paragraph immediately above that, it says, to better understand how to synthesize articles for a paper, please see the slide deck by Alice Fry titled How to Synthesize Articles for a Paper. The deck is available in Canvas. Yeah, so Robert, I have to think about that. I think it seems like it would be fair to make that option available. So yes, just simply because the options are available in the other project, and we don't want to push people into the analysis project just so they can take advantage of the extra credit. I don't want to do that. So yeah, I will add extra credit to this. Okay. So this is kind of this was a race through the projects, but are there any questions? Okay. So
I
there.
actually have a question. Those are getting released, even though they're week 13, they're still going to go ahead and get released now, correct?
Yes, yeah, we're releasing it at the same time so that people get enough time with them. Yes. But yeah, no, I guess what that is we're releasing 12 and 13 at the same time. Yes. Thank you for the smiley face. That's my reaction. I would that could be a little bit much. I think 10 points is actually quite a bit. I would rather hold it there.
On the other question on the analysis, I understood that the base of 93 points for kind of following the instructions and doing the project, and then I saw 10 points for at least one of the extra credit options. I'm not sure what 10 for either of the extra credit options. What is there? How are those 7 points between 93 and 100? Am I understanding that, or is it really 93 plus 10?
Yeah, no, that's good. And can you highlight, I don't have, or let me let me grab the screen. But
okay, I sort of see it now that you have the screen up,
right.
Actually. The reasoned analysis is the reasoned interpretation
Right,
is the
exactly.
7 points. Okay.
Yeah, so you're using Les Miserables for the straightforward analysis. And then the next step, which is the 93 to 100%, is you pick your own set of books or own book and do some kind of reasoned analysis over that. And then the extra credit is, you're tweaking, refining, perhaps adding content.
Okay, thanks. That makes sense.
Okay. There's no other questions. I think we're done. And you hang on for just a minute so we can work out that one piece on the project description. Okay. So this is good. So thank you all, and we will see you next week. And by the way, and watch, well, actually we'll be on next week. Actually, this is good. Okay, next week is Thanksgiving week. So we are off next week. So the unit 14 will begin the week after Thanksgiving. So we have nothing going on next week, and yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you all. Okay, hey, bye everyone.
Bye.